Coming up on OU Nightly, we're taking a look at some showers, some that could bring some mixed precipitation to our area.
How members of the Oklahoma delegation are reacting to President Biden's State of the Union. And live coverage of the high school basketball playoffs from the Lloyd Noble Center. This is OU Nightly. Your Campus Weather Authority is receiving reports of sleet and snow mixing across the metro. Good evening. I'm John Hornack.
And I'm Stone Weber. The largest team of collegiate meteorologists has team coverage.
Let's get you right over to OU Nightly meteorologist Drake Foley. Drake?
Yeah, right now we're taking a look at a live radar across the state. So far, it's looking like just rain, although earlier when we zoom into Norton, we actually had some reports of some rain and ice mixing. And right now we have OU Nightly meteorologist Josh Duncan outside to give us a report on what it's looking like right now. Josh?
Yeah, Drake, I'm out here on the balcony just outside of Gaylord Hall, and it's just light rain right now. Haven't seen any sleet, but that's a possibility we can't completely rule out over the next few hours as temperatures continue to drop right now across the metro. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. You factor in a strong north wind, and it'll feel like the mid 20s coming up tomorrow morning, so it is going to be a cold start to the weekend. Drake, back to you.
Yeah, and coming up in Maine weather, we're going to talk about there could be snow for some tonight. It's going to be a cooler weekend and warm temperatures return. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Drake. An Oklahoma senator is reacting to President Joe Biden's State of the Union address. OU Nightly's senior political reporter Noah Mack joins us in the studio with the recap. Noah?
Well, Stone, a lot to unpack here. The president kicked off the address by setting a dire tone for American democracy and drawing stark differences between him and his presumptive rival, former President Donald Trump. And he will battle Trump in November. Many Republicans have called Biden's address a campaign speech, including Oklahoma senior Senator James Lankford. Lankford had a moment on camera mouthing the words, "That's true," when Biden mentioned the bipartisan immigration bill, of which the senator was instrumental in drafting.
That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
In a video reaction to the address, Lankford clarified that he believes Biden is still sitting on his hands when it comes to the southern border.
Those facts were true, the facts that he was talking about, what was in the bill. But what the president conveniently left out were the authorities that he has right now that he's choosing not to use.
Biden also called for a two-state solution between Palestine and Israel and officially announced the U.S. will build a pier on Gaza's coast to help streamline humanitarian aid. Stone, John.
Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt is filing a lawsuit against Attorney General Gentner Drummond. Stitt's office says the lawsuit stems from a recent opinion by Drummond. The opinion issued last week led to the resignation of Tim Gatz, a secretary of the Transportation and executive director of the OTA. Stitt said in part of the most recent AG opinion concerning Tim Gatz is flat wrong, and in order to continue working to make Oklahoma a top 10 state, a court will need to fix the mess the opinion created. In a post on X, Drummond called the lawsuit, quote, needless, and said Stitt works with the legislature to fix the problem.
The Osage, they have the worst land possible.
Members of the Osage Nation are Hollywood bound. Tribal members will perform an original song featured in The Killers of the Flower Moon at the Academy Awards this Sunday. The movie, made right here in Oklahoma, is breaking records as it was nominated for 10 Oscars. The song is also up for an Oscar for Best Original Song.
When we return, 3 separate incidences have been reported just this week with United Airlines.
The cause of those problems, that's coming up in News Center.
And team of collegiate meteorologists is hard at work tracking Oklahoma weather.
Drake's full forecast is just 6 minutes away. You're watching OU Nightly.
My baby's back from the West Coast.
Here are those pictures that you asked for your school project? First day of school, cute as a button.
So long ago.
Oh, here's Grandma Florence after that flood wiped out the whole neighborhood.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Those beans smell heavenly.
Give Mama a little credit.
You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year.
Oh,
Great idea.
At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with the link.
Okay.
Smart.
I'm coming to share with you guys.
Protect your legacy. Plan for natural disasters today. Visit ready.gov/plan.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
An airline faces federal investigations after multiple incidences this week. OU Nightly's Rachel Mosshammer has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating 3 separate incidences that occurred on United Airlines flights this week. On Monday, a flight out of Houston had to return after an engine caught fire in midair, making it the second incident out of Houston this week when another plane rolled off of the runway and onto the grass after landing. And a flight on Thursday, a tire from the landing gear detached shortly after takeoff. United Airlines says it will continue to work with the FAA and Boeing to determine what happened. Expelled Congressman George Santos announced last night he's running again for Congress. Santos launched his campaign during the State of the Union, which he was spotted at the U.S. Capitol. The U.S. House expelled the former congressman in December of last year, and he faces charges of defrauding his campaign donors in 2022. Parents in Uvalde, Texas are angry and concerned after an independent report finds Uvalde police did not violate policy. The Uvalde City Council says that there were no acts of misconduct committed on the day of the Robb Elementary shooting in 2022. The report comes after the Department of Justice earlier this year described Uvalde's response as cascading failures of leadership. And former President Donald Trump posted a $91 million bond as he appeals the judgment against him in the E. Jean Carroll defamation case. John Stone.
Thanks, Rachel. And coming up on OU Nightly, what women on campus are doing to empower others in the tech industry.
Hear from the club's founders when we return.
And the rain may be back, but this weekend we are springing forward. Find out up next.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Right now we're taking a look at our campus camera right outside of the Union. Right now in Norman feels like 38 and it's raining. Feels like 29. It's kind of nasty out there. Starting to feel a little bit colder than we've been seeing, and that's because we've had rain passing through the area and some reports of some mixed precipitation. But right now it's looking like just rain. Those precipitation totals all the way ranging back to yesterday when we had those storms. Almost 0.6 inches up in Oklahoma City. Not as much here in Norman, only 0.11, but we are going to see those precipitation totals start to increase as this rain goes out throughout the rest of the day. As of right now, though, current temperatures, we're already at freezing in Guymon and Woodward. And we're going to see some snow around there later. And then Oklahoma City and Norman 39, 37 respectively. And those are going to continue to cool down as we see these future wind gusts. 28 in Norman around 5 p.m. And that's just going to increase before we drop off tomorrow. And it's actually going to move through. And then by tomorrow evening, those wind gusts are going to be down in the single digits. So we're finally not going to have that brisk wind that we've been experiencing so far today. Allergy report, though, we've been looking at it, and those weeds are green, trees are orange, that mold is yellow. So if you've been sniffling a little bit outside, that's why that wind is not helping either, as it's blowing that across. And then as we look at our lows tonight, 37 in Norman, so not much colder than we are right now, but that's going to be influenced by a wind chill. It's going to be much colder. 29 Elk City, Guymon getting all the way down to 22. But when we get into those highs on Saturday in the 50s across the state, it's going to feel pleasant after we get out of those morning hours. And that wind is going to be that 10 to 20 like we explained earlier. And then getting into the precipitation types I was talking about tonight, this area right here is where we could see light accumulations of snow. Everywhere else, there might be a little bit of a mix, but no accumulation. And that's throughout the state where we're going to see that rain all the way down to Idabel, as those showers are going to be scattered and spread out. And this weekend, it's daylight savings time again. Spring forward, you got to turn that clock again 1 hour forward. Make sure to check your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors and plan accordingly as that comes up. And precipitation outlook right now below average if you're going to the Pacific Northwest, but as you go out and forward towards the East Coast, you're going to see more precipitation, and those temperatures below average down here in South Texas and out towards the Pacific Northwest. Yet again, they're going to be dry, they're going to be warm. And then as we get into our 7-day forecast, it's going to be pretty pleasant as we get towards the end of the weekend. Sunday 63, Monday 70, then Tuesday 73 with a bit of a chance of rain before we get to Thursday and Friday with our next cold front, and even more rain to go with it.
Well, that's great to hear that's going to be warming up. Thank you, Drake. Yeah. And a recent survey found that 1 in 3 women plan to leave their tech job in the next 2 years, and over half of women in tech experience gender bias during their careers. Representation in tech is not just a problem in the workforce, but on college campuses as well. Yuki Zing is a STEM major at OU who created a club to increase support for women in tech on campus.
I remember my freshman year, the only 2 women in the room were me and then the professor. And I'm sure there's more, but because they weren't attending class, it's kind of like jarring to look around and see you're the only person that looks like you. We decided to start a Girls Who Code college loop on campus, and having that presence on campus, knowing you're not alone and there are women who are empowered that can empower you, I think that's really important.
Girls Who Code are on a mission to close the gender gap in technology here at OU and beyond.
Hoops is heating up for OU men's and women's basketball.
Stay tuned. Friday Sports is next.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hello and welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Kenzie Iserman.
And I'm Kaylee Carnine. Spring cleaning is coming soon, and it's time for OU football to dust off their cleats. OU Nightly's Kaylee Jo Hamel has more on Team 130's debut.
That's right, spring is coming early, 8 days to be exact. OU football returns for spring practice with a new team and a new conference. And for head coach Brent Venables, the SEC doesn't change the preparation for Team 130.
This is maybe the most unforgiving league on the planet, and what we're getting ready to go into. We know that with clear vision, and but our focus has really been inside out and trying to develop, a team, a mindset, a culture, high standards. Certainly the roster is a big part of it. It hasn't been, well, let's put a really good team together for the Big 12, and then when we go to the SEC, let's go back and reevaluate and look at what kind of team that's needed there.
Spring practice begins March 11th with the annual Red and White Spring Game kicking off on April 20th at 1 p.m. September 21st marks the first SEC test for the Sooners as they say howdy to Tennessee. Kaylee, Kenzie.
Thanks, Kaylee Jo. OU women's basketball already has the back-to-back regular Big 12 title, but they're looking for more. In their last Big 12 tournament, the Sooners are the #1 seed. Tomorrow in the quarterfinals, they will play TCU, and the Sooners beat them 72-55 in the regular season. OU Nightly's Britton Ross sat down for an exclusive interview with a Sooner who traded in the OSU Cowgirl Orange for the Crimson and Cream.
Sooner born and Sooner bred, but with a twist. Women's basketball senior Lexi Keys transferred from Bedlam rival Oklahoma State this season, adding to the short list of athletes who have played for both the Orange and Black and the Crimson and Cream.
Being born here, raised here, and being honestly an OU fan, and then I think it's really special in itself, just being able to play on both sides of that and see what the preparation is like on both sides. The rivalry is really special, and I knew that growing up, just being able to watch it. And so being able to live that little childhood memory is really awesome.
Keys is having a career year shooting the ball, and she credits that to head coach Jenny Baranczyk and the program she's built.
I think this program honestly just breeds confidence. I think to be good in her program and throughout this system, you have to be confident. And I think she just gives that to you. Whether you want it or not, she gives you confidence. Jenny is as real as she is on the outside, looking in on the outside as it is being on the inside. And it's kind of one situation like what you see is what you get. I think playing against her all those years that I did, you see the passion behind how she coaches, and you see the love that she has for her players while she's coaching, and she wants to win just as badly as they do.
Keys has always had a competitive fire, winning 2 state championships in high school and winning the Class 3A state tournament MVP as a freshman. This fire has led Keys to 1,000 career collegiate points, and that's something that she really was never too worried about.
I had not thought about it, and so when I was on the free throw line, it wasn't even kind of a thought in my head, but until after the game, one of my teammates was like, "Congratulations," and I was like, "For what?" And they were like, 1,000 points. I was like, and so it was just a fun moment.
Keys may have just reached a massive milestone in her career, but that's not how she wants to be remembered.
Honestly, I want people to, when they think of me, to think about the smile I have on my face and the love that I have for the people around me. The thing that I have always wanted people to feel when they talk to me is I want people to feel important. I want people to feel valued. And if I'm just known for being a three-point shooter, I have not done my job very well.
She may not want to be remembered for hitting threes, but she will always be remembered for this game-winning three-pointer against Texas with just 4 seconds left, securing Oklahoma's second consecutive Big 12 championship. Reporting from the Lloyd Noble Center, Britton Ross, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Britton. And speaking of the Longhorns, OU men's basketball is facing Texas in their final regular season game. OU is 9th in Big 12 standings, but a key person to watch for is Javion McCollum. McCollum is 15 points away from reaching 1,000 career points as a D1 player. The Sooners hit the road to Austin for a 105 tip tomorrow, and head coach Porter Moser likes where this team stands.
They were just talking about it. Yeah, they were excited about it. They know how important each game was. They know where we were at. We had to get another big win against a really good team. It's probably a quad 2 win. No, we know. We feel we could go to Texas now, and these guys are fired up. They were talking about that more than they were talking about the other. I mean, I think they know. They know we're just trying to stack some wins now, but I think we're in good shape.
A loss at Loves Field last weekend broke the hearts of Sooner softball fans and their record 71-game streak. But the back-to-back national champions spirit isn't broken. OU Nightly's Ryan Smith has more on the next games.
February 29th, 2020. That was the last time before Sunday's matchup against Louisiana that OU softball had lost a game at home, adding on to the streaks snapped here at Loves Field. But these Sooner sluggers know that the adversity they face early in the season will only benefit them going down the road.
I'm going back to the basics of like this game, we're going to fail more than we're going to succeed, and kind of putting that in the back of your head like, hey, let's have a good process and let's go through the things that you need to do off the field and then prepare so that when we're on the field it's ready to go. But I mean, adversity is a big thing in this game, and if we can get those early struggles on early, then it will work out later in the year.
But it doesn't hurt to get started early. With Patty Gasso's squad getting back on track, run-ruling Texas A&M Commerce 9-0 in 5 innings on the backs of a combined shutout from Kirsten Deal and Peyton Monticelli on Wednesday night. But as Big 12 conference play rapidly approaches, so does an uptick in the foes they face.
Dying down to one game a day is going to be really helpful just for us to kind of figure out what are we doing day in, day out, and we can lock in on that one game for that day.
And this is where competition gets tougher and tougher, so like we're just gonna keep building and building each game. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited.
We'll have to wait just a little bit longer to watch these Sooners play in their final first conference matchup as members of the Big 12 against Iowa State, as tonight's matchup that was supposed to be going on at 6 was rescheduled for a doubleheader on Saturday. Reporting from Loves Field, Ryan Smith, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Ryan. On the mound, OU baseball was supposed to be underway as we speak, but due to the weather, the game has been rescheduled for tomorrow at noon. It'll also be a doubleheader, but against UCF, with the second game beginning at 4 p.m. The Sooners stand at 6-5 on their season with a notable win against Tennessee. This matchup marks OU's first conference game of the season, but head coach Skip Johnson puts an emphasis on preseason games.
There's no doubt. I mean, our schedule going into conference is really tough. So it's all those teams. You play good teams, they're all going to help you. That's the thing. I mean, you want to play the teams that you're probably going to see in a regional. All those teams really help you, prepare.
Coming up on Big Friday Sports, we'll cover everything from Sooners tennis to gymnastics to wrestling.
And we'll have a live preview of some high school playoff basketball from the Lloyd Noble Center. You won't want to miss it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. Now, Norman is known as the home of the Sooners, but today Oklahoma High School basketball battles in the Lloyd Noble Center for a state title. OU Nightly's Abby Williams has more.
High school hoops are heating up as the Oklahoma State basketball tournament continues. This morning, I covered 6A boys basketball and got to see which 2 teams are advancing to the state championship. It was a battle between the Tulsa area this morning where the Owasso Rams and the Broken Arrow Tigers faced off in Norman for the state semifinals. The Tigers clawed at the Rams early on, but it didn't take long for Owasso to build a lead. The Rams led 29-20 at half and didn't let up. Junior Jax Kerr led the charge with a team-high 21 points. Final score, 53-43, Owasso. Next up was a dogfight between 2 schools just down the road from one another. The Edmond North Huskies and the Edmond Memorial Bulldogs battled it out in a crosstown showdown to prove who's top dog. The Huskies pounced first and led 24-15 at half. 3-star senior Chiante Tramble posted a team-high 18 points and sent the Bulldogs home with their tails between their legs. Final score, 56-34, Edmond North. Packed with games tonight for 6A girls basketball. Owasso takes on Putnam City West in a 5A girls matchup. There's another Tulsa battle between Booker T. Washington and Sepulpa at 7:30, and Coweta takes on El Reno at 9. And for the 6A boys, the back-to-back state champs Edmond North takes on Owasso at 7 tomorrow night, right here in the Lloyd Noble Center. From Abby Williams, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Abby. Number 20 OU women's tennis hosts 2 conference matches at the Headington Family Tennis Center this weekend. The first match is underway against the Cincinnati Bearcats, and the Sooners are currently 1-0 in doubles. Sunday's match is scheduled for 1 p.m. against West Virginia.
For one final time in McCaslin Fieldhouse this regular season, OU men's gymnastics looks to sink Navy while saluting 3 seniors for senior night. The Big 12 Gymnast of the Week, Reagan Smith, and the OU women's gymnastics team look to harness the Hogs this Sunday on the road when they face the 12th-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks.
Thanks for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Kenzie Eiserman.
And I'm Kaylee Cardine. And have a weekend filled with some Sooner sports. Good night.
Winter is upon us, and every Oklahoman knows that that means unpredictable freezing temperatures. One of the main concerns with freezing temperatures is the damage they can cause to your home or business should they